Ready for a Thursday at the park. It is beautiful Belmont Park. Some overcast skies, a little on the chilly side, but that's okay. We will warm you up with the racing action as we break from the gate here on MSG Plus. Good to have your company. It's the Richard Migliore, Jason Blewitt, third floor Clubhouse Studios, 16 days out from Belmont Stakes Day 147.
And it'll be here before we know it. It seems like this whole spring has flown by. We got through that tough winter, but only good things to come. And I always enjoy watching the 2-year-olds, and we had a nice 2-year-old debut here today as well.
Yeah, sit tight for a tipped out. There was a lot of steam with the Uncle Mo firster for Pletcher Johnny in the first race, and that'll be the first race we cover regarding Thursday's action. But it's all about, at least as we get things underway and sail from the starting gate on Insider, the test of the champion, an American Pharaoh, who's won 6 in a row, including the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, stretched his legs and got his jog in, a 1-mile jog or so, over Churchill Downs this morning.
And from everything I hear, he seems to have bounced out of the Preakness in good order, shipped back to Churchill Downs, and is showing a high energy level. That's what you want to see coming out of some of these tough races. Won the Preakness with a little something left, so maybe it wasn't as hard on him as the Derby. I thought the Derby might knock him down. Well, he came back for more. It's saying a lot about his constitution, his physical and mental constitution.
It's been a long time. You got to go, 37 years since a 2-year-old champion, Spectacular Bid being the last, came to Belmont Park with a shot to take down the Triple Crown. The Bid did it back in 1979, so we'll look forward to American Pharaoh.
Well, you think about the Triple Crown and just how tough, what a daunting task it is. Well, we had 3 Triple Crown winners in the 70s, back-to-back, 78 and 77, Seattle Slew and Affirmed. And in 79, everybody thought Spectacular Bid was an absolute cinch to win the Belmont Stakes. Now, a lot of it was attributed, stepped on a safety pin, what have you, didn't get the most prudent ride in the world. But imagine if there had been 4 in the 70s.
Crazy. But he left his legacy on that decade of just world-class champions, and we can move on to Irad Ortiz Jr., made some headlines late today. Michael DeCock tweeting, in fact, that Irad Ortiz has picked up the mount on the UAE Derby winner, Mubtahij.
Yeah, I guess Christoph Sumian, his Kentucky Derby jockey, tied up in Europe that day. Irad, obviously, leading rider, doing great, riding well. Picks up, I believe, a very live mount in the Belmont Stakes. And good to see him get that kind of opportunity. We saw him break through in the Breeders' Cup with Lady Eli. And when you win those kind of high-profile races, it leads to those kind of opportunities.
And he's familiar with the main track. I get him out of halves at the one end of the extreme scale, but he's familiar with Big Sandy here. He rides 5 days a week for the most part when he's not suspended, and Mubtahij still at Belmont Park as he trains towards the big dance. Wicked Strong will be running, your Wood winner from 2014, one of the best 3-year-olds, in fact, last season for Jimmy Jerkins and Centennial Farms, and he tuned up this morning 5 furlongs over the main track with his sights set on the Met Mile.
I like the turn back. I like him the 1-turn mile. I think he's going to get real pace and set up for his late run. He's kind of been involved, kind of pecking up closer to the pace in races that haven't had a great deal of pace. So the blinkers have definitely made him more interested. But I think the mile, he'll get out-footed and he'll come with that one big run that we saw him win the Wood Memorial with last year. I think it's a great move. I like him going a mile.
And the Mike Venezia Award will have the presentation Monday, Memorial Day. That has been tradition, at least in my mind, over the last 20 decades, or I should say 2 decades or so, 20-plus years. And John Court, steady as a cat out in the Midwest, a stalwart of the Midwest riding scene. He'll be honored here on Memorial Day with the Mike Venezia Award.
Yeah, and I think a very worthy Mike Venezia Award winner, kind of embodies everything that the award stands for. Mike Venezia was not only a tremendous rider, but just a great person, and it was a privilege to know him, and I'm proud of and happy for John Court to get this very, very prestigious honor.
All right, good stuff. Speaking of honors, 7-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer Todd Pletcher was front and center, along with his firster named Uncle Vinny, who's by Uncle Mo. John Velasquez had the call. The chalk players, they couldn't bet enough. Ton of money to show. A $50,000 show bet came in on that horse, and he'll go to the post a huge favorite in the Thursday opener at 1:20 p.m. as we send it up to track announcer Larry Colmus.
They're off. Condo King on the far outside, hustled out of there. Cantrell, Uncle Vinny, and Feisty Lulabelle down on the inside in tight quarters there, running in fourth position early on. The trailer is Sky High Skyler. It's Cantrell and Condo King, and they're going at it on the lead, and John Velasquez motivating the big favorite Uncle Vinny, 2.5 lengths behind, running in third position. Then Sky High Skyler and the filly Feisty Lulabelle at the back of the field after a 22-3 opening quarter mile, and they're coming toward the top of the stretch. And it is Condo King, Cantrell, and here comes Uncle Vinny, who's been under a vigorous ride, but is looping up on the far outside and taking over at the top of the stretch. And now Uncle Vinny is in front. And Uncle Vinny straightens out with a 2-length lead over Condo King. And then it's Cantrell in third as they come down to the 16th pole. It is Uncle Vinny. Uncle Vinny's going to win his debut under the wire here by about 4 in the end over Condo King. And then it was Cantrell in third.
3-wide sweep. The chalk players are happy. And a polished debut first time out with this colt by Uncle Mo and Uncle Vinny at 1-9 in his career debut.
Well, I think my Uncle Vinny probably tapped out on Uncle Vinny, and that's why he was such a short price. All seriousness, this is a very nice colt, very professional debut, and he looks exactly like his sire, Uncle Mo, and he showed a lot of grit. Watch the 3-horse. We're going to come out of the gate. They're going to come together as we come closer to the turn. Now, everybody's hustling for position. It is 5 furlongs. He's already had contact from the outside. As they get closer to the turn, you're going to see they're going to ping-pong off each other here. Johnny Velasquez is trying to save the horse to his inside, and he winds up having to get bounced around between horses. For a young horse to take that kind of contact, come back out of the spot, take the kickback, get in the clear, and make the sweep he did, he showed not only that he has great ability, but that he also has a toughness that you want to see in horses going forward. A lot of young horses would have chickened out of that and given up. He showed a lot of fight, and just getting back to the Uncle Mo's now. They're 2 for 2, and if you watch the way they stride, they look exactly the way he strode out. Kind of almost runs downhill, gets that little extra extension, and I think it's miraculous that a young sire like him is already stamping his young horses like that. That points it out to me that he is going to be an extremely hot and fashionable sire for a long time to come.
Well, he was sort of at his best a miler, sort of long, elongated sprinter out to a miler, and he had all the tools, at least during his racing days, of a potential top-class stallion. Just his class, high cruising speed, the way he did things was so brilliant as a 2-year-old. I mean, really, when I think back to my 20 years in being a racing fan, he's near the top of just talented 2-year-olds that I've seen with my own eyes.
Well, and I think that precocity is boding well for his young horses to come to hand quick. But and the fact that he was, I think, more of a miler type, possesses speed. That's the kind of sires you want for American racing. You want them to possess speed, but the way these horses stride out, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not going to get too many that want to go further as well.
Outwork is the other Uncle Mo 2-year-old firster that won for Rapoli stable. Maybe a horse we'll see in the Tremont, certainly upstate at Saratoga this summer, but there was Uncle Vinny in today's first race. Pretty impressive. Sights and sounds of a day at beautiful Belmont Park. It is race number 6 as we head to the opening leg of the late pick 4, and we go back to Larry Colmus.
Quick Picnic breaks sharply and goes out to take the early lead. Cosmo Storm on the inside. Ogermeister on the far outside. Black Tide and Scattered Dreams is right behind them. After that comes Tarzan, and Artie Crasher is last early. 6 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. It is Cosmo Storm on the inside, Quick Picnic, and outside of them is Ogermeister. These 3 across the track. Black Tide is backed off the pace to run in 4th after a 22 flat first quarter. Black Tide is now 4.5 lengths off the lead. Artie Crasher gets going from 5th with 6 lengths to make up on the turn. Scattered Dreams and Tarzan. Around the far turn, Cosmo Storm up top. From Quick Picnic, Ogermeister on the outside. A 4-wide run for Black Tide. Artie Crasher's coming 5 wide with a strong bid, and they're into the stretch. It is Cosmo Storm, Artie Crasher on the outside, and Ogermeister between those 2. Artie Crasher and Ogermeister take over. Cosmo Storm is back to 3rd. Black Tide finishing well on the far outside, but it's Artie Crasher. Artie Crasher out on the outside comes Black Tide and Ogermeister. It's going to be Artie Crasher over Ogermeister, and then came Black Tide and Cosmo Storm.
Turf Turnback. Artie Crasher crashed the party in mid-stretch. Here he comes, Green Silks of Team Westside Stables. And if you're going to ride a Turf Turnback, you better get them into the game. And Joel Rosario did that perfectly with that far turn run.
He really did, and that's when you're counting on the stamina they've built up in longer races to carry you through when you start getting involved a little earlier. But Artie Schiller broke his maiden 6 furlongs on this turf course, and I think it just gives them a stronger closing finish when they turn back. I like the turn back.
Sycamore Lane, another Artie Schiller turf horse who won here last week for Belmont. All of a sudden, Artie Schiller's had a few Belmont Park turf winners of recent times, and Joel Rosario board. He would come back in a pitch battle alongside Javier Castellano in race number 8. That is a stretch battle over the main track you are not going to want to miss, and we'll get you up to speed. Other highlights in Thursday's Late Pick 4 when we come back here on Belmont Insider. The New York Racing Series returns to MSG Plus this coming Monday, Memorial Day, May 25th, with the Big Apple Showcase Day card. Number of championship New York bred restricted stakes. We'll put our best foot forward. It'll be rocking both on the front side and on your television. Set the DVR. Hopefully you can join us. $25 all-you-can-eat backyard barbecue. The $30 Garden Terrace Luncheon Buffet. Plenty of ways to enjoy and watch the races here at beautiful Belmont Park. The unofficial start of summer. Holiday weekend is just about upon us, and it's good to see the New York Breds get their day in the sun. Not that they need restricted competition to do so.
Well, New York Breds nowadays can compete very well in open company. I think there were 3 in the Kentucky Derby this year out of a potential at 23,000 that were trying to make the Derby in this full crop. And I always like the New York Showcase Days. I'm glad they're expanded, but I'm really pumped. I'm psyched about the MSG Plus show.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the barbecue.
No, I don't think we'll have time between the show, but we might make it.
From 5 to 6, we hope you'll tune in. And again, if you're out, you got plans, you're joining us at Belmont Park, which we hope is the case. Set the DVR. Should be a lot of fun alongside Andy Serling and Maggie Wolfendale. Race number 7 is where we are headed next. We've got plenty of turf on this show, and we'll send it up to Larry Comas from the gate in the 7th.
Ticket holder on the far outside, and Glowing Ember out for the lead together. Man of Many Virtues came out running in 3rd, and then it's Secret Fortune in 4th. Manhattan Mischief is 5th on the inside early on. And then comes Element Hidden Vow, and Piloting is last up the backstretch, 10 lengths off the lead. The leader is Ticket Holder, and Glowing Ember is a half length behind, running in 2nd on the rail, as Secret Fortune and Man of Many Virtues edge up alongside 3rd and 4th after a 22 flat first quarter mile. The first 4, 5 lengths ahead of the rest. Manhattan Mischief is 5th as they go into the turn. And then comes Piloting to the outside, Hidden Vow and Element. Around the far turn, Ticket Holder a half length in front. Secret Fortune is 2nd. Man of Many Virtues 3rd on the outside. Glowing Ember is 4th and down toward the rail, 2 lengths off the lead. Then comes Manhattan Mischief, who's getting going with 3.5 lengths to make up. Piloting's on the outside. Element and Hidden Vow, a 45 and 1/2 mile. And they're coming to the top of the stretch, and Secret Fortune under a hand ride here has taken the lead. Secret Fortune in front. Alongside is Glowing Ember, Manhattan Mischief, and way on the outside, Element is closing with a rush. And here's Element in the center of the course, trying to catch the new leader, Glowing Ember. It's these two, Glowing Ember and Element. Element and Glowing Ember. Element's got the lead. Element has won it. Going away in the end from Glowing Ember. It was close for 3rd, Manhattan Mischief, and Secret Fortune, who was fighting back on the inside.
This show quickly turning into the Todd Pletcher highlight reel. He's a perfect 2 for 2 in the full races that we've looked at. An Element right up from Gulfstream Park, full of run when it counted the most.
And 2 for 2 on the turf now, undefeated on the grass, and was a stylish winner. He looked like he just jumped in at the 3/16 pole and finished down the middle of the track under little urging from Javier Castellano. Pretty sharp-looking winner.
And a good return to the races from Glowing Ember for trainer Gary Contessa, whose horses have quietly run pretty well over the last 2 cards. He had that big long shot win midway through yesterday's program in XXX, and Gary would go on to win today's 2nd race, which you'll see a stretch run of, and Glowing Ember in his first start since mid-September. But real fast, and talking about Uncle Mo and his potential impact as a top-class stallion, I'm reminded in looking at Element and his sire, Unbridled Song, A, he left us too soon. soon, and the mark he left as sort of a commercial stallion throughout the world.
Yeah, really, and his horses were able to do pretty much anything. They ran long, they ran short, they ran on the turf, and I think you're going to see that from the Uncle Most too. The efficiency of their stride is what really stands out to me, and I get excited when I see a sire come out firing the way he does, because we're always looking for that next Stormcat or Northern Dancer or obviously Seattle Slew. But
makes it one of the best parts of the two-year-old racing, seeing those freshman stallions and who will make an immediate impact. Well, an impact will be had as we have, I'll call the stretch run here, Clash of the Titans. Todd Pletcher, Chad Brown, they had a pair of horses in sub 2-to-1 territory, and they battled in race number 8. It's a good one as we send it back up to Larry.
Finn's Quest on the far outside comes out running on the lead. Long for the City, sent along by Javier Castellano. These two now, 1-2, up the backstretch. No Surrender will sit just behind them, running in third. See No More is fourth, and then Towering Moon and Freddie G on the inside. Up the backstretch they go with Long for the City in front. And Finn's Quest is alongside, running in second, while No Surrender tucks in behind the leaders in third, 2 lengths off them through a 23-2 opening quarter mile. And then it's Towering Moon on the outside of See No More. Freddie G at the back of the field, racing 7 lengths off the lead as they race for the turn, where it's Long for the City and Finn's Quest a half length apart. These two race by the first half mile in 46 2/5 seconds. So they're moving right along on the far turn, and No Surrender is now 2.5 lengths behind. Then comes Towering Moon, See No More to the inside, and Freddie G still 6 lengths behind. It is Long for the City, Finn's Quest, and now No Surrender, pumped along by Joel Rosario, getting a wide rally but beginning to move up as they come toward the top of the stretch. Long for the City, here's No Surrender. No Surrender up alongside of Long for the City, and these two take off for the final furlong, and Long for the City digs in. No Surrender's alongside. These two will fight it out to the wire. Long for the City on the inside, No Surrender on the outside. They are noses apart all the way through the stretch. Here's the finish, and it is very, very close between No Surrender and Long for the City. And then came Towering Moon and See No More.
Todd versus Chad, Joel versus Javier. It is all hair, and two horses who refuse to give an inch, battling down to the wire in race number 8.
And appropriately, No Surrender, the winner of the photo, because neither one of these horses had any surrender in them. This was as good as it gets. This is what horse racing is all about. 2 of your best trainers in the world with 2 of your best riders in the world, pulling out all stops, and 2 horses that did not want to lose. It's too bad it wasn't a dead heat, because really this race didn't deserve a loser.
Now, Long for the City had the more taxing trip because he was the inside speed who for the most part never got a breather. Finn's Quest attacked him pretty hard from the outside. He shrugged him away and then had to face that new challenge, a fresh challenge of No Surrender. And in the case of Joel Rosario, what's going through his head right as they're starting to straighten away off the bend, and he's unleashing a fresh horse on a rival that's been dueling the whole race.
Well, I think he recognized that Long for the City wasn't through yet, and he didn't want to give him that 70 to 100 yards breather that he might have gotten when Finn's Quest dropped off. So he attacked him to make sure he kept him, honest and running hard without getting that little bit of second air. And I think that was the key, because the way Long for the City fought back, if he gets even just a little bit of a breather somewhere, you have to think he's going to win.
All right, fair enough. A sleepy, overcast Thursday, but a good day at the office for trainer Todd Pletcher, who completed his hat trick, and Joel Rosario, the only jockey to win more than one race. He scored 2 as we sent it to race number 2, and Larry C for the calls of 3, 4, 5, and 9.
Meisner Park in front. Dominic Smile second on the inside. Up into third is Ram Bam. It is Meisner Park coming down to the 16th pole. But back on the rail, Dominic Smile fights on. Meisner Park still has it close to home. And Meisner Park will prevail by 3/4 of a length over Dominic Smile. Ram Bam was third. And they're coming toward the top of the stretch. Racing for Chasen. Off the turn, a lead over Stolen Victory. On the outside is Julissa. General Ann's behind a wall of horses. Needs running room. No place to go at all for General Ann. And General Ann is just trapped. And then comes Twin Lights, who's finishing well on the far outside. Into the final 16th. Julissa in front. General Ann's got late room. Then moves up into second. But Julissa will prevail. And then it was General Ann who had to settle for second, then Stolen Victory in Twin Lights. Outside, it's Billy Pays the Bills. These three well clear of the others. Then comes Face in Campion Lane, a 46 1/2 mile. They're into the stretch, and it's Invasion Point the leader. Super Nicky from the inside, and Billy Pays the Bills on the far outside tries to close in, but Invasion Point's got it with a 16th to go, and Javier Castellano and Invasion Point will win. And they'll win going away by 3 in the end over Super Nicky. Billy Pays the Bills was third, Campion Lane fourth. On the inside, Over My Head on the outside, and Talk to Me trying to mount a rally in the center of the course. And they're into the stretch, 3/4 and 1/13 flat. It is Don't Blame Her and Talk to Me. Over My Head is back to third. Talk to Me has taken the lead. Talk to Me pulling away from Don't Blame Her and Over My Head. As they come down to the wire, it is going to be Talk to Me by 5 or 6. Don't Blame Her was second. Over My Head was third. Mile. Carry Boy on the outside in Sunny Afternoon. Hush Hush Mush Mush behind them. Then Meeting House Road and Star a Go on the outside. They're into the stretch. And it is Carry Boy and Sunny Afternoon. These two come into the final furlong from Hush Hush Mush Hush. And on the far outside, Dr. Keogh, who is closing in the center of the course. Carry Boy in front, close to home though. It is Carry Boy under the wire in front. And then it was Hush Hush Mush Mush, followed by Dr. Keogh.
An 11-1 upset in the nightcap. Kerry Boy took to the turf, caught by Quiet American, Wilmer Garcia, Gabriel Goodwin. They didn't cover everybody in the pick 6, and Kerry Boy was nobody's boy. We have a carryover, 22,000 plus. Another pick 6 carryover at Belmont.
That's always a good thing, isn't it? Generate more excitement, more interest, and potential for a life-changing score.
Absolutely, and past performances are out at timeformus.com and drf.com. And Bruce Levine, by the way, as we check out the rider standings, 3 wins away from a 2,000-win milestone in his career. And we'll get on to the trainer standings in just a second. But Mr. Irad Ortiz Jr., day number 2 of his 7-day suspension, and he is still the top dog in the county.
And they really didn't cut into his margin. He's able to maintain that 3-win lead over Angel Cruz. And I'm sure knowing Irad and as competitive he is, he's keeping a close eye on it.
All right, trainer standings are up next. Todd Pletcher scored a hat trick, and he has cut the lead with trainer Chad Brown. Those guys teamed up for a good stretch battle in race number 8, and it was no surrender by a whisker.
I think Todd might have got tired of hearing us wax poetic about Chad Brown every day and decided, let me unleash a few and let him know that I'm still in the game.
All right, Belmont Stakes 147 around the corner. Many of these outfits will have horses competing here at the Palace over the next few weeks, and Michael Dove leads all owners with 8 victories and counting. Claims with another Thursday down. Let's see who went. I never looked at the claims on Equibase earlier today, and in fact, there were a handful. 1 out of race number 3, and a pair out of races 4 and 8.
Yeah, and a couple of shakes there. 4-way shake for General Ann. Danny Gargan comes away with her, and several horses having dinner in a different barn tonight.
Including Long for the City, Tough Beat Loser in race number 8, taken for 50 G's by David Jacobson. We have got a Grade 3 stake moonlighting as an allowance race. That'll be the Friday feature. A good preview is coming up. We'll spice things up and a little incentive for you to hop on over to the new look NYRA.com. Sign in with your account number and password top right of the screen. You do that, play around with the new wagering interface, which is very user-friendly and intuitive, and we'll give you a 10% winner's bonus capped at $200 in Saturday's $300,000 guaranteed late pick 4. High above the action here at Belmont Park. Things have settled down. We've got Glenn Kozak and his crew out on the main track and the turf course, getting the racing surfaces here ready for trading tomorrow, but a good day and another day in the books.
Yeah, another day in the books and some great racing and the unveiling of a real good 2-year-old.
All right, let's move on to the Friday preview. A very solid 8th race awaits. Reload coming back off a 15-month layoff.
Yeah, and that would be a bigger concern for me if he wasn't in the hands of a master, Shug McGahee. He will have him ready. This is a horse that has obviously great ability, and this is like a stepping-off point for him, but you have to think he's probably ready to run because Shug doesn't run short horses.
No, he does not. Plainview is one of my favorite claimers turned stakes horses. Greg DePrima's done an outstanding job. He carries his speed, and he always seems to show up with just a solid effort.
He always shows up with a solid effort. I think he runs his best races for Jose Lascano. Jose Lascano's on him tomorrow. He's stepping up from that 7/8 where he's in front through fast fractions. There's only one other horse that maybe can mildly entertain him on the front end tomorrow. That's Storming Inti. I think Plainview takes some flag fall to, that's all.
First time gelding, not a cat but a llama, coming back as a 5-year-old. He has since been gelded off a 4-year-old campaign in which he went 1 for 9, but did win a nice race over Carafa at Saratoga.
Yeah, he's a nice horse, hard-hitting horse. Usually takes him a race or two to shake up the ring rust. You wonder if being gelded will kind of move him up, so he's not a cat but a llama but a gelding.
But there is a joke in there somewhere. And I think maybe you got it, though. Good job. A busy Thursday for Todd Pletcher. He only runs 1 here tomorrow, and we've got our 2 standing by. It's Andy and Maggie with who to look for.
Thanks a lot, guys. Let's try to get Friday's pick 4, late pick 4, that is, start on the right foot, because the horse I am interested in is in race 6 on Friday's card, and it's the 6 horse, Take Cover. Take Cover should be a fair enough price. This second-time starter for trainer Belmont, who debuted last September, so has been off for 8 months. Now, I don't worry about the layoff, and I don't worry about this horse's poor performance first time out, because Belmont is not good with 2-year-old firsters, especially on dirt. And what I like about Take Cover was, A, took some money in his debut, even though part of an entry. Seems like he may have been the one getting bet. Met some very good horses, including Frosted, who finished second that day. And Frosted, of course, could be a factor if he runs in our Belmont Stakes in a couple of weeks. Take Cover showed some speed that day, so I think it's possible he has some speed. More importantly, he's bred very well to handle the turf. He gets turf in this race off a layoff. And I want Take Cover in race 6 on Friday's card as we head out to Maggie.
Thanks, Andy. Well, today in a fairly gloomy Belmont paddock, we're hoping for sunshine tomorrow, and I'm hoping to get a winner home in race number 8 tomorrow. It's our feature. It's a really good optional allowance for the turf horses going 1 mile, and a guy that returned with some firepower, at least off the bench, was number 2, Plainview, and I noticed how much better he looked than he did prior to going on his break over the wintertime for trainer Greg DePrima. I think if he doesn't regress from that effort first off the bench, could improve because he gets a little bit more distance. There's a little bit more speed signed on, but he is the fastest horse, and maybe he can lead these on a merry chase. No doubt about it. There's some stiff competition, but I think he was in a higher quality race as he emerges out of the elusive quality overnight stakes. So it's Plainview, your paddock insider tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Little Plainview action out of the elusive quality. Was second best that day, opening day, in fact, behind Mosler. That was a good field, and I like the job Greg DePrima does. Doesn't claim a lot, doesn't run a lot, but proof is in the pudding. The job he's done with Plainview took him for around 30,000, and he's banked a few $100K since.
Yeah, and one of those horses you gotta like. He puts it out there every time, and he runs hard, and he doesn't quit. If you're gonna beat him, you gotta outrun him.
It's him, Reload, not a cap but a llama. Solid field. Again, a grade 3 moonlighting as an allowance race on the Friday feature. We will get down from the rafters at beautiful Belmont Park. We've got that pick 6 carryover and a first race post here on Friday tomorrow of 120.